Hey, everybody, welcome again to eChannel News. We've got Chris Savio. He's a Senior Director of Product Marketing at GoTo. And we're going to get a bit of an overview of what's going on at this company. They're doing a lot of things, and let's figure out what's happening. Chris, first of all, man, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Really excited to be here, Julian. Yeah, excited to talk to the audience, tell a little bit about what we got going on here and what we have coming up.
Good stuff. Well, let's get the bigger picture first of all. I mean, I know GoTo is doing a lot of stuff, right? And there's a lot of components. Give us the broad strokes of what is included in GoTo today.
Yeah, that is an understatement. We do cover a lot of spaces for a lot of buyers and a lot of use case. We have, on the side of the house I don't support, so I won't try and misspeak on it. Is kind of our communications collaboration side of our business, anchored by our GoTo Connect product, which provides end-to-end both telephony, messaging, call center support. We just rolled out some cool things with our AI receptionist there that really helps businesses from just traditional maybe collaboration communication needs through kind of our call center technology to help power small to medium-sized call center operations at a lot of different organizations. So a lot of cool things there. We also have our meeting technology, our GoToMeeting tool, GoToWebinar, which we've seen a great resurgence with as well, and a lot of innovation on that platform. And then kind of pivoting over to the IT side, our LogMeIn suite of IT solutions. So a lot of people know our LogMeIn name. LogMeIn, the company itself, had been around since 2025 2005. And we kind of rebranded to GoTo, and now we've kind of rebranded back our IT suite, which is anchored by our LogMeIn Resolve product and LogMeIn Rescue, which helps to serve kind of the IT providers, both MSPs, small IT departments, to large enterprises. So really a lot of great things going on there. And then we still focus on a lot of kind of sole proprietors, personal use with our go to my PC product as well. So lots of different things for lots of different providers. I think for your audience in particular, really honing in on our Resolve product that focuses in that MSP space, and a lot of innovations going on there as well.
Right on. So as you could tell, man, there's a lot of different moving parts here. But today, we're going to focus on one piece at a time, and we're going to focus on the log me in type side of the business and resolve and all the other components around that. It's really super interesting for MSPs out there. So let's dig into this. So let's talk about the that component. What's in it?
Um, so yeah, if we said GoTo is a lot and had in it, we've really packed a lot into one solution with Resolve, but we've done it very purposefully, and really from a user experience, high quality user experience focus. So Resolve itself is a much more modern, unified endpoint management solution, and that's almost an understatement for what it can cover. So from the core UEM platform, it really has your traditional remote monitoring and management capabilities. So patch management, alerting capabilities, antivirus management, remote access. It also has mobile device management baked in to it as well. So be able to support and expand your support and security for your customers or your organization, to set up policies, security policies in general, app restrictions and so forth on your iOS or Android devices. And then so that's typically what you'll find in kind of a UEM platform, but we've kind of pushed the boundaries with that as well. So LogMeIn was historically known for a lot of its remote access and remote support technology. So that's integrated into it as well. So ad hoc remote support, where you can go in and support desktop devices or mobile devices hands-on with remote control capabilities. We also have a ticketing platform in there that does incident and problem management capabilities, for organizations that are, maybe frustrated by a lot of heavier or bloated tools or overpaying for that. We kind of toss that in just to all of our platform as well for customers. And then finally, the two other components of it is an integrated asset management platform, so for hardware and software asset management, and a knowledge base, right? An AI-powered knowledge base. And I mentioned AI, and that's something that kind of threads across, and we can obviously dive more into that if we want, through that kind of whole platform of Resolve to help solve everything from insights to resolution.
Chris, it feels like that Russian doll, man. You take it off, and another one comes out. You take that off, and another one comes out. I mean, it's quite a lot you've packed into this solution, this product. But let's double click on the actual MSPs for a second here, right? So you understand these companies and their challenges and where they want to go and all that stuff, and how exactly can they start to leverage this suite of solutions to kind of impact their business?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I think the way that we've built Resolve is really to help MSPs, where sometimes maybe you have a technology you're already using for kind of RMM, right? You have kind of one of those legacy vendors that have been around there, and you slowly want to migrate over. You want to see what else is available for you. And so we've set up Resolve in a sense that you can kind of come and grow, whether it's your business or your footprint for us. So even just starting with something as simple as our remote access or ticketing and asset management capabilities through remote support into more of the traditional RMM and MDM capabilities throughout the platform. So having that, we have our multi-tenancy kind of covered all across that. We have integrations with some leading PSA providers like your ConnectWise or your Halo PSA vendors out there, along with other partnerships with companies like Acronis or Sentinel One, again, to help businesses kind of, from an MSP standpoint, grow your book, give more value to your customer, grow your kind of MRR, ARR, however you're collecting it. And then within the platform itself, specific to MSPs, I mentioned the multi-tenancy, but really the integrated nature of being able to have your deployed device easily link into our asset management capabilities or into a ticketing side to understand kind of the interconnected relationship between hands-on support and reactive, proactive type support with each other, and not needing to go to two different tools or two different solutions. So a lot of the benefit that we've seen with MSPs as well as just general IT departments is that ability to consolidate with something that isn't hooked together through a bunch of different acquisitions, but really kind of natively integrated with one another. Really saves a lot of time and saves a lot of cost as well.
So let's say you're talking to an MSP, right? And you understand the suite of tools you've got, and obviously they've got some tools that they're using right now, right? What are some of the things? How do you tell them to figure out how to digest the GoTo suite that you've got? Like you start first of all with the remote device to check it out, or
Yeah.
where do they start?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of it depends on their maturity and journey and needs as well. So I'll give one example. I was at an event last night, a small regional MSP event, and having some really great conversations with providers. And one of the things that we noticed there in some of these conversations was talking about mobile device management. And it's something that a lot of organizations don't necessarily have from MSP in their toolkit, right? And so if a company is saying, well, I'm looking for an MDM platform, which really isn't integrated with a lot of your traditional RMM platforms that are out there today, that isn't offered by it, it really gives you then an entry point into Resolve to say, hey, this is a solution that can help my customers be more secure. It could also give me another expansion motion for my customers to drive some more expansion revenue, growth revenue for my business as well. So that's one side of it. Others that we've seen, the comment that you made, coming in to start with the platform, maybe they're because of the simplicity of our solution, and as well as the less of a need for kind of resource overhead, which can cost dollars. A lot
Mm.
of companies that look at us from MSP, maybe they'll have two different platforms, and maybe they have their legacy solution that they had used for maybe larger, more complex things where they know they're going to get a return on it, and so they can stick more resources into it. But if they really want something that's turnkey, where you can get in, configure, resolve, and get it going within hours, not days or weeks, there's some platforms out there which, if you can believe it, their training literally says that it takes like 60 hours to become proficient in their platform, which is comical to me. I don't know what IT guy has 60 hours to do training on a platform, but regardless, with us, and so maybe a smaller business that they have our book that they're trying to drive more revenue from, they can get our platform stood up more quickly and manage it with fewer resources and time put into it.
Yeah. I want to double click on one cool feature that I like the most about your product, and that is in the cybersecurity world, right? We know that when you get breached, you've got to have an alternative way to communicate with all the players in your business, right? And so I see, GoTo being kind of that way to communicate with everyone, because you need to have a separate system because the hackers could be listening in on your current ways you communicate through Teams or whatever right now.
Mhm.
So you need an alternative. And sometimes people describe stuff, but they're not quite doing it, in the way that you and I would understand, because they're talking, they're excited, they're angry, they're whatever it is, right? But you've got the ability for them to use their phone, right? And drop a video on this and actually show, what's going on with the screen, and it's really cool way to kind of see the environment right from like you were there. Just tell us a
Yeah.
bit about how that works, man.
Yeah. No, so what you're talking about is our kind of camera share support, right? So if you think about traditional remote support, is when let's say your laptop, your Windows or Mac is having an issue. You call up support, you open up a ticket, you chat with them, whatever it is, and like, hey, I'm going to give you a PIN code and connect it to your device so I can remote control it. And that's great. A lot of problems can be solved that way. You get admin levels, you reboot, do whatever you need. However, there is a world in which, especially if you think about from this hybrid remote work world, or even in some offices where maybe there isn't an IT professional, maybe you have satellite
Mhm.
offices, that there's hardware that you can't remote into, right? Whether it's a printer, whether it's setting up a server room or a router, or someone's work from home desk where they're trying to plug in a monitor with a docking station or something like that. That turns into a conversation or a comedy of errors, I would say, of trying to describe, well, yeah, I plugged it in here and it's this red button or that red button. And so what we have in Resolve is this camera share, see what I see over the shoulder. It's almost FaceTime, purpose-built FaceTime on steroids, I like to see, and secure FaceTime on steroids,
Yep.
where an end user can hold up their phone. It becomes a one-way stream where you can see what they have, and then they can freeze the screen. You can annotate. They can save those images. You can save them into your own documentation. And so it cuts out all that back and forth of whether it's verbally describing or sending emails or ticket comments back and forth with pictures taken, solves it a lot faster. And it's really fantastic. It's a great feature that really I think some people try to figure out, well, how can I fit this in my workflow and work? And our users going to be okay with using the camera? This day and age, that doesn't even become a question anymore. So it really does go gangbusters for businesses.
I'm telling you, MSPs, you spin this up, right? It's gonna impress customers, man, because I've seen it and it's pretty damn cool, man. And you know what? I mean, half of the problem is people explaining to others, right? Everybody explains and articulates things differently, and it's not like visualizing, what's going on. And you got to check to see if it's been plugged into. Don't forget, right?
Right.
So that's the
Yeah. And
easiest
you
way to
don't
know.
believe them, right? Right. I'm sure there's plenty of IT guys can say, like, I told a user to do this and they said they did,
Yeah,
but maybe they didn't.
yeah.
Right. And so this kind of helps you kind of confirm that.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a bit about other stuff. Like, let's talk some outcomes a little bit, right? So for an MSP, right, I'm spinning up these tools, and maybe I'm starting with one or two, and then I'm increasing over time. Um, if you zoomed out, knowing your MSPs and how they're using it right now, what kind of outcomes do you think they're getting? Like time savings, money savings, like speed to get
Yeah.
things resolved? Like, where are we with this?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, there's a significant dollar savings, right? When you consolidate things together, we had some company that they used four different solutions. They were able to consolidate all of these into one with
Mhm.
Resolve to save close to 75% budget on them, right? And we understand that there's solutions out there that might be more feature rich than ours, and they've been around though for also 15, 20 years, which at the same time does cause slowdowns in UX, slowdowns in releases, and so forth. But they try and call a higher price tag. So we try and be competitive price for that to allow MSPs that are sometimes margin strapped, right? This isn't a business where you're seeing these crazy margins in business and you're
Yep.
putting a lot of time into it. So that's one place. And I think the other, you kind of called out there is really helping a team that is maybe out there, on average that has one agent for maybe 250 endpoints that they're supporting. And that's on average, sometimes a little below, helping them to become more best in class, maybe pushing up to supporting 300 or 350 endpoints, right? So you're able to support more customers. You're getting more productive, but at the end of the day, you're supporting more customers and potentially bringing in more revenue with the same amount of agents that you have. And a lot of that is due to the automation, the smart automation capabilities we have in Resolve, as well as this connected, not context switching between one platform and another, being able to get that kind of holistic view for, as I mentioned, kind of a both reactive and proactive capabilities seamlessly connected.
What's really cool about it, there's so many different tentacles, that this thing offers, and in a strange way, they're all connected, right? It's like you're saving these folks a lot of time, right, and resolving things faster. And I mean that's the name of the game, right? And in the cybersecurity world we're living in, right, time is of the essence, right? Let's just talk a little bit about the security aspects, because when people hear about remote accessing and letting my computer being accessed by somebody else down the road type thing, whoa, what is a security hardening that you guys have baked into this solution?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, security is pretty top of mind for everyone these days. It's near and
Mhm.
dear to everything that we do here at GoTo, and particularly obviously from an IT side, right? Your trust can only go as far as the technology you're using if you're an MSP, right? And your business is on the line anytime you're deploying something, right? When you're setting up a contract with the customer, right? You're potentially liable for a lot that's going on. And so
Mm.
you need to ensure that the technology you're using, to your point, kind of can give you that peace of mind. And so we've done something really unique in Resolve that I'm really proud about and give all the kudos to our engineering team for when Resolve was launched. So just for some context, back when Resolve launched back in 2022, it was actually based on some previous architecture. For those that were familiar with GoTo Assist or familiar with that, we kind of used some code previously from there, from look and feel from a modern version of that to fork off and start Resolve. And so the product was being built in 2021. And for those that have the good memory, 2021 was there was some rather large supply chain attacks with some big, well-known vendors that serve a lot of MSPs. And our lead engineer had said, "Hey, we're not going to let this happen to our customers, right? We do not want this. So how can we build a solution from the ground up that prevents these type of supply chain attacks? These abilities for someone to go in and either get front door into the solution, or God forbid, back door into the solution, and push out malware, ransomware, and everything to your whole customer base without you knowing about it."
Mm.
And so what we built in Resolve is what we call kind of a zero trust architecture. And I know sometimes this term zero trust has gotten overused and watered down by marketers, so I'll fall on that sword, unfortunately. But really, the idea from it is that this approach of never trust, always verify, right? So not trust but verify, but never trust, always verify. So what that means is in Resolve, anytime an action is taken on one of your deployed hosts, whether that's remote access, whether that's setting up an alert, running an automation, creating a policy for patching, anything that could potentially impact that device and create an access channel to that device, you're required a secondary signature key. So this kind of additional type of passcode, which is not the same as your password. It's only singly used by one agent at a time. Not known by GoTo, so we actually don't store anything like this. And what this essentially does is then validates anytime anything hits that device, hits that endpoint, does it have this verified signature key on it that's verified at the device level? And so God forbid, again, someone got front door into your system and tried to push something out. God forbid, got a backdoor entry into our GoTo systems and tries to inject some code in there.
Mm.
This malware would get to that device and try and push out an update. Device would say, "Hey, does this have a signature key that I know is verified to do stuff on this device?" No, it doesn't. Sorry, nothing happens, right? And so it
Mm.
can really prevent and do a great job thwarting a lot of these supply chain attacks. So it really gives MSPs peace of mind. Hey, we're putting this Resolve software out on a device. You're creating a really risky door by putting any remote access software on a device, which you've said, right? It opens up a really big entry point. But they can know that that entry point has, security vault door, additional PIN code, armed guard, all this stuff kind of standing in front of it to prevent anything from getting to it.
Well, that, my friends, is a key to this whole thing because if you're using tools, right, and they're opening yourself and your clients to being attacked, right, then what's the point, right? You're going to get hurt no matter what. So
Right.
it's about getting tools that makes your life and business easier, but also getting tools that doesn't make your life a nightmare. And I think that's the challenge. It's not, you got to balance performance and everything with what you're getting, right, to make sure the security is always there. And personally, I think that's the best, secret weapon that
Yeah.
you guys are offering because no one wants to use these things if it's not going to be secure. And if you're an MSP and you're using tools like this with your clients all the time, you're definitely not going to want to have like a tool that's going to be hacked by everybody. So then, there you go. You can understand what the problem of that would be. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes if that
Yeah,
happens.
unfortunately, you only get one shot too, right? God forbid. The first time it happens is usually, unfortunately for your organization, probably the last time it's going to happen.
Yeah.
For a lot of these MSPs that, only have maybe a few dozen customers and things like that. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a great scenario at all.
There's no do-overs, man. It doesn't work that way.
No, no.
So, I mean, we got to talk about AI because no conversation is cool without AI. So obviously, AI is the thing, that's driving everybody into orbit. How are you guys approaching it, and how are you baking AI into what you're doing?
Yeah, just going from one buzzword category to another, right? From security and zero trust
Let's go.
to AI. Yeah, and I think this is another topic that IT professionals and MSPs are cautiously optimistic about. Love it, but maybe hate it. And I think a lot of it is the unknowns, right, with AI, and because There's a lot of hype around it, or maybe it's just a lack of awareness of the capabilities it can do. So, for example, I mentioned this event I was at. I'll go back to it again. It's top of mind. I was only there last week, and a lot of discussion was around, oh, well, we want to advise our customers to not potentially use AI because it's just a glorified search tool or things like that. And this is actually what you're hearing some people saying. It, I think that's a lack of knowledge or awareness of the power of some of these AI capabilities. And the reason I'm saying that is because the approach we're trying to take in Resolve for our AI and in general here at GoTo is this approach of looking at everything that's capable with AI. So it's not just searching and having a chat thing, right? It's being able to do image recognition. It's being able to analyze large chunks of data, to answer complex questions based on data or other inputs, to pull from multiple locations, to be agile, right? Not structured in its automation approach, right? To be able to be nimble and adjust and critically understand what's needed to go on, right? Not just to answer a basic question, but to kind of help you solve things. And so knowing the ability to do that, right? This approach we take is what we kind of, a lot of people have said in the industry, kind of a practical AI. And I'll unpack that for a second for Julia. What we mean by that is that we deploy any of our AI where there's a need that we see can be addressed by it. So it's AI really with a purpose, not just for the heck of AI. I feel like a lot of technology, when generative AI was getting popular within, 2 years ago, it's like, oh, we'll just throw a chatbot here you can talk to, or we'll just push out any type of create a script for this, or and and you don't really know if is that the key need or problem with your customers. Is that what they're looking to solve for, right? Or okay, if their biggest issue is I'm doing something repetitive when I'm trying to get into a remote support session, then what we've done in Resolve is we've rolled out this virtual technician that can actually go out and automate those tasks. So it looks like someone's kind of going around on a computer. You don't have to write scripts for it, but it follows a guided knowledge base, or you can use more global world knowledge for it. And it can go and do anything from make the health of your browser better by clearing cache, resetting, clearing cache and cookies, resetting default browser, deleting extensions, to installing software, running checks to see if your device is going to be ready for Windows 11. And it does all of this, which you would need to do in a remote session yourself. But this just goes and can automate through without a script with plain English, right? Another thing we see a lot of are after support sessions, right? Drafting up kind of notes and documentation. So what we've done is we've taken our AI capabilities to actually watch what's going on in a session, and it kind of does these, every couple of seconds, kind of screenshots of itself to understand what's going on, and it pulls up your full session notes for you. And hey, you can then take that and convert it into a knowledge article if there was a solution during it, right? Session wrap-ups are some of the biggest headache, leaves inconsistency in knowledge, and especially for MSPs where your knowledge is kind of your lifeblood to help continue to do things repetitive. You bring in other technicians, helps you do that, right? Big problem, big headache of like, oh my gosh, I have inconsistent knowledge and I have to spend, 3 to 5 minutes after every problem documenting this. Great. We'll solve that for you in an easy way, easy to do, take it off your plate. And then the last place we looked at was using AI to just make you smarter, right? And not in the sense of like, hey, I'm going to ask you, to tell me about the 1955 World Series, make me smarter, but make you smarter with what
Who
you're
won? Yeah.
seeing, with what you're seeing in your environment, right? To understand what is the health of my customers or this tenant? What are the problems that what devices am I troubleshooting most often? All these questions that you might have that maybe there aren't standard out of the box reports for, because that would just make reporting too untenable to navigate through. You can go into our insights platform and just ask in plain English, hey, how many remote support sessions did I have over the past 45 days? And what was the chipset that was being supported, right? Maybe there's an interesting nugget there that you can understand. Hey, there's these devices that are requiring more problems, or which antiviruses, aren't getting updated automatically. So things like that to pull out reports that are then customizable and reuse and ask those kind of questions without, CSVs or SQL knowledge or things like that to dig into it. So again, real world problems and solutions and not just AI for the sake of AI.
And Chris, this is just early days, man, and I'm sure it's going to expand from there. Another thing as well that's really cool. I don't know if we talked a little bit about it, but it's about patch management and setting policies and all that stuff, because we all hear about, a big chunk of the problems out there with cyber attacks is patch management, right? Just give us a brief overview of how, your solution helps them to kind of like take that big headache away from them.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, right? A lot of security gaps or performance issues with devices can be solved just by better patching hygiene. right?
Yeah.
Things, whether it's 0-day patches that you need to get out there quickly for, let's say, your Windows system security issues, or just keeping employees productive and moving forward with the latest releases of whatever software that you might need, your Adobe suites or 365, et cetera. And so with Resolve, we've really taken the approach again with the user experience first of setting up really kind of an integrated kind of policy approach with our patching. And so you have the ability to go out, create different policies across your fleet by your tenants, by certain groups, right? So maybe you have your VIPs, maybe you have certain devices that you don't want to get updated. Maybe you have kind of your beta group of users, right? So you can group both by tenants, by users potentially within those test groups and so forth to kind of roll out however those policies that you see fit, right? And an important thing I think to add on to those within Resolve is not just rolling out those in these patches, right? What you can do as well is configure certain custom alerts within the product to then, hey, as you're rolling out maybe new software or patches that could questionably have an impact on devices, you can set up these alerts to either be self-healing or just notify and say, hey, if there's certain performance issues, right? If let's say devices are running slower or there's CPU pull or RAM pull or something like that on certain devices, after this is rolled out, hey, alert me. Or maybe the smart alert is to roll back some software or something like that. And you can kind of build all this out bespoke. If you know scripting, you can kind of do it yourself. You can use our AI script wizard to help you with a starting point for some of these, or use some of our out of the box executions and alerting as well in parallel with the policies.
I think that's going to help MSPs a lot, man, because it's a challenge. There are tools out there that patch stuff, but when you patch stuff these days, you got to patch it with the right timing, with the right customers. I mean, some users don't want to be patched because they're working at night, or I don't know what the
Yeah.
scoop is, right? But what you can't do, you can't patch something when somebody's been busy using their computer. Apparently, that's a no-no. So you want to set policies around these things and get it done. So just you put on your future hat for a second here, and you know the solution better than everybody else. And where's it headed? Like any without giving us any secrets of what you're building on right now, but where do you see GoTo heading in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few places where, looking to invest and continue to push boundaries. So one is really kind of pushing more on this real unified platform with regards to MDM and RMM, right? And understanding in this day and age, a device is a device is a device,
Mhm.
right? So what I mean by that is you want to have everything easily accessible and manageable within one space, right? Whether it is a mobile device, whether it is a desktop device, and you want to be able to share things across, whether it's setting up on onboarding new employees for organizations, keeping them secure, up to date, creating policies that transcend across, right? So the ability to kind of see these holistically. So that's put in place. We're looking to continue to invest to make this even more of a seamless connection for organizations. I think the next one really is continuing to try and unlock the insights that you can pull from your system's information to help you understand. As an MSP, you have a lot of customers, a lot of endpoints, things you're going to help you prioritize your day. So
Mhm.
whether that's using AI or other information, big data to say, hey, you come in today, you have your dashboard that says, okay, here's things that you need to work on this morning. Here's your punch list, right? Because XYZ devices need updates, or there's AV issues here, or there's performance problems here, right? Or, this other alert's coming off, right? Here's where you need to focus on that day. And so you don't necessarily always have to be, beholden to tickets that are coming in or stuff like that. You can be much more proactive and listen to what your machines are telling you, listen to what your fleet is telling you, your customers' fleets, and start being more proactive in that work. So that's two. There's a few other things going on, trying to continue to expand kind of ecosystem that we have. I mentioned kind of some partnerships that we worked on. We just rolled out an Acronis partnership. So we're looking for more ways to play more in the ecosystems that MSPs are playing in. But yeah, those are the things I'm
Yeah.
excited about.
A lot of stuff to come, man. And again, I mean, the whole challenge is how do we take chaos, right, and make it into simplicity. So for me, the end of the day is to have these MSPs go home and actually have fun as opposed to working all the time and prioritizing, this complex stuff that's coming in is mission critical more and more because it seems like it's not getting less, it's getting like more noise and it becomes more critical to kind of like, boil that down to what's really important. Man, you get the last word here, man. What do you want channel partners to know about, the GoTo and why they should be picking up that clicking that mouse and getting on to figure what's going on.
And getting on. Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing is the velocity with which we're innovating, developing on, right? I mean, there's a lot of vendors and providers out there that provide RMM technology or remote access technology, fewer maybe for the MDM for MSPs and so forth. But I think the security being front and center, the amount of innovation, you can see all the things that we release regularly. I mean, just this first half of the year alone, I think there was more than 50 plus impactful releases that we had with Resolve, continuing to move the product forward, both with core foundational things as well as innovative, right? I think some vendors are really focusing on this innovation and pushing stuff anywhere and kind of forgetting about the core platform, which we're definitely not. We One example, one of the biggest highlights that I had in the first half of the year was for our remote support tool, enabling a remote access, enabling kind of a multi-monitor support. We know that's a big pain for customers. It's not this flashy thing that's going to end in the news, but it's solving a real problem for our customers and a pain and a headache that they had that people were asking about, right? So I think that's the first thing. I think the second is kind of just the dedicated support that you'll get as an MSP with Resolve. We have fantastic success managers. You have access to our product organization that's really keen to listen to our MSPs and really make you true partners, not customers of ours, but partners on the journey of Resolve, and making the platform better and more friendly for your customers as well as yourself. And at the end of the day, help you grow your business much more easily, right?
Oh, there you go. And man, if it's overwhelming for you, they've got a really cool configurator tool. I don't know what to call it, right, on their website. So you go there, you click around, and it just asks you questions like what you could be interested in, and you click on all the stuff you like, and then boom, it says, "Hey, based upon what you just said, here's a shopping list." Now, it's just first step, right? But that's a great way to kind of figure out, how to start your journey into what you guys are doing. Chris, it's been great stuff, man. I'm sure there's tons of stuff coming down the pipeline. And for MSPs, this is the kind of company you want to deal with, because they've been around forever, but they're investing heavily in the MSP space, and it's going to help you save a lot of time. And they're also open, partnering with companies, right? That's going to help you, solve big problems. So check it all out, Chris. And the website, should I ask what the website address is? What is it?
So you can just check out our whole portfolio at logmein.com. Resolve is on there. If there's other solutions, as I mentioned, like our rescue product or go to assist, whatever, or go to my PC and so forth, all kind of coupled in there. And so yeah, you can check out what we have to offer there. There's a whole MSP category that we're continuing to build out with additional resources for you.
There you go. More to come, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.